Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about the 3 production tricks every guitar player should know. Now to some of you these might be basic tricks, maybe you already know some of this stuff, but for others this might be exactly what you were looking for. Okay, real quick before we get into the video, if you're struggling to get your productions to sound professional, make sure you check out this new free training that I have on 5 steps to make professional sounding progressive music. So if you're looking to get a roadmap, a system that will allow you to come up with consistent results in your productions, make sure you check this out. We'll cover all the steps required to make a killer sounding progressive track in your bedroom. So link is down here, make sure you check it out. I'll see you there. Trick number 1, distorted split bass. Now let's check out this bass here. I'm using the Grove Bass by Submission Audio. Link in the description if you want to check out this plugin. This is by far the best sounding bass library out there when it comes to progressive music, and the coolest thing about this is that you have a bunch of key switches here, and this is what I love about this plugin. You can really go in depth and program your part exactly how a bass player would play it. But anyway, we're gonna talk about tone now, and obviously here we have presets already made that already sound amazing. I'm gonna show you this one that I'm using. Now obviously here we have already made presets, and that's what I'm using here, but you gotta know how to make this tone on your own. It's very important. So let's briefly check out how this is sounding like right now. Okay, sounding really good. We're gonna try to replicate the same thing, but we're gonna use a clean DI as a starting point. So I'm gonna duplicate the track right now, and we're gonna use just a clean DI signal. This is gonna be our DI. The first thing you wanna do is you wanna split the signal in 2. There's multiple ways you can do this depending on what DAW you're using. The most basic way is to just duplicate the track, so you have one track with a clean DI or one track with the amp. I'm gonna do it a bit different just because I'm using Ableton, but you can do it in any way you want. So we're gonna create basically a dry signal, which is actually a DI signal, and then an amp signal. Now for the amp, you can use pretty much whatever you want, even guitar amps work really well. Obviously depending on what you use, you're gonna have a different result, a different tone. But for this one I want to keep it super simple, so I'm just gonna open up an archetype plugin. Let's try the archetype Nolly, and let's see how this sounds like. It's probably gonna be too much. Let's try another amp. It is nice, actually. I never tried this before, to be honest. It is actually sounding really nice. It's mostly also because of the DI, which is already sounding really nice. So that is the important thing. You want to start with a very good sounding starting point. So you gotta have a good DI, good performance, and it has to sound good from the beginning. Let's try to use some overdrive in front and try to tighten up the sound even more. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, this is already sounding really good, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just EQ it a little bit to, actually we're gonna use a different EQ. We could try to play around with different mics, maybe using the 421. Yeah, there we go. The bass always sounds good on bass. is good. So I'm gonna use a different EQ for EQ. Or actually before that we could try to use this one just for sculpting the sound a little bit, see how it sounds like. No, I don't like it, to be honest, in this case. So we're gonna do a pre-EQ, so high pass filter. Maybe it should be posts. Yeah, it should be posts. Okay, so we're gonna use an external EQ. You can use whatever you want, obviously. So what I'm gonna do with the EQ, I'm gonna just try to sculpt the sound a little bit, maybe get rid of some of the harshness up here. You know what, we could use a dynamic EQ for this job. So I'm gonna just use a dynamic function. Yeah, because I don't want to get rid of all of it. I just want to limit the peaks. Yeah, this sounds better. Alright, so at this point I would probably use some compression just to make it pop a bit more. This is obviously just for the tone, we're not actually trying to compress anything, you know, it's distorted, so there's not a lot of dynamics already. But we're still bringing up everything quite a bit. Yeah, it just sounds more aggressive. So at this point I could maybe try some more EQ. I feel like this part is kinda sounding a bit harsh, so we could either EQ it out or maybe use a multi-band compressor and kinda even up the but you know what, we're gonna do that with the DI as well, so for now this is good, I think. So let's jump onto the DI. What we're gonna do in this case is the opposite, so we're gonna low pass, or actually high pass, high cut everything above 250. Actually, let's check out the exact frequency. 226. I'm gonna do the same. I mean, I don't think it has to be exactly the same. So The other thing is compression. We're gonna compress maybe a bit more the low end since it's super clean. So trying to preserve the attack a little bit. Okay, so we figure out the exact amount of compression needed. I think this is sounding nice. Yeah, this is pretty nice. So we're gonna do a little bit of processing on everything now that we have the blend. So after you blend the two tracks together, you can start to process them sort of at the same time. So I'm gonna use a little bit more compression to sort of glue everything. So let's bring everything down a little bit. Yeah, it's sounding pretty nice. I feel like we could use some art bass on the DI. I feel like it's not going low enough. You know what? Actually, not. It's too much. We're gonna just use some. We're gonna just use some more EQ to even out everything and multiband compression. Yeah, this sounded pretty balanced, I think. One trick you can use to see if you're balanced with the low end and the high end, they should peak at sort of the same level, pretty much. It looks pretty balanced. Maybe you have a bit more high end than needed, but I think it sounds fine. Let's compare it with the previous tone. It sounds a lot more mid-rangey, probably because we're using the guitar amp. There we go, this is better. I think they're both solid tones. We will need to try them in the rest of the mix, but basically this is how you can split the bass and have two tracks and sort of have this, you know, very popular progressive heavy bass sound. Again, there's so many different ways you can do this. Alright guys, tip number 2. This is really the OG one. This will make you feel like a real producer. And I'm talking about using sample in reverse. Things like reverse snare, reverse guitars and stuff like that. So let's take a look at how you can do that. Now first thing, you want to record your sample. So let's say we're going to do a reverse snare. So I'm going to just take a snare from here, from GGD. And I'm going to put a lot of reverb on that. I mean like a lot of reverb. And then I'm going to just record this into a different track. Obviously the process as far as routing, you know, logistics in the DAW is different depending on what you're using. You can just, you know, bounce in place things or record into a different track, same thing. And basically now we have our snare here in audio form. So what you want to do is reverse, and Ableton has a very handy reverse button. Once again, every DAW is different, but it's pretty easy to figure out how to do this. And then here's what we have. And then if you put this, let's say, in between a transition, so in between two different sections, let's say here. That's it guys, we are producers now. So as you can see, it really sucks you into the next section and just works really well like all the time. So obviously don't abuse this, but it's a very easy tool to, you know, do transitions. I guess let's try to test it into a different part. Let's see here. Yeah, it always works. So just for context, here's without it. Pretty boring, and now with it. You could probably bring it down a little bit, but you get the idea, then you just mix it in as you like. And so the other thing is, you don't have to use necessarily a snare sound for that trick. You can in fact use guitars. Distorted guitars usually work really well. You play a chord and then you just reverse that chord. Or you can use really any sample that has an envelope that's kind of falling, so that when you reverse it, it's rising. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take this one that I've used here. So this was an acoustic guitar, I'm pretty sure. Let's see what it was before. Yeah, you see, just a chord. And then you reverse that and you have this, you know, rising type of sound. And again, that's gonna help you introduce the next sessions. We have a reverse kick here. This one I use all the time really, because it's short, it's subtle, but it works really well. And then obviously you can layer these things together. For instance, you know, put together different source samples. And I have like a bigger reverse thing that sounds huge. There's more here, for instance. Now, so when you put everything together, basically get something that really helps you with the transitions, makes the transition smoother, and it makes the new section have much more impact, just because you're like swelling into it. Kind of weird to explain, but you know, it's just something that works for some reason. And so very related to this, tip number 3 would be using additional production and additional samples in order to make your drops have bigger impact and basically make your drops sound bigger. So I'm gonna just mute this track here, and I'm gonna show you what I usually do in a lot of my tracks. And by the way, you can find these samples online pretty easily for free even. So here's the sounds that I'm talking about, and there's so very basic cinematic style impacts. Now if you put this in your drop, you know, anytime you're introducing a new riff, or let's say in the breakdown of a song, you're gonna have that feel of like super big impact, which is pretty cool. Maybe let's turn it up a little bit so you can hear it clearly. Now obviously that might be too high, too noticeable, but that's the idea basically. You wanna make sure you're using this super simple trick just to, again, make your section have much more impact and drop basically harder. And there's a lot of packs for free that do this, so that have these samples, so you can easily find them online. And then it's just as easy as, you know, dropping it into your section.